The seven marvels of the normal world might have been named to rapidly ponders like the fabulous Gorge and Victoria Falls are unquestionably huge, and any individual who sees them will certainly be dazzled, be that as it may. Sheer size isn't sufficient to leave an individual in stunningness, really. There are different spots in this world, however, that are far stranger, places that appear to be practically outsider, as though they could exist on a planet that developed independently from our own. These are places that researchers have needed to battle just to comprehend how they at any point might have been shaped, places that will genuinely make you wonder since they're delightful, as well as in light of the fact that they appear to follow logical regulations that don't exist elsewhere on the planet.
Number 1. The Lake KURIOSKY. The Soviet Association had numerous atomic offices, and a large portion of them were not well arranged and hazardous. Inside one such production line, there is a lake. The lake's water has more radioactive material than elsewhere on the planet. Lake KURIOSKY is radioactive to such an extent that you will kick the bucket in something like an hour, assuming you stand close to it. Soviets unloaded atomic waste into the lake. Their atomic practices definitely disapprove of the lake. In the past, in 1957, blast blew the production line, separated, and the radioactive particles spread more than 23,000 kilometers. The region is more radioactive than Chernobyl. The lake has been covered with cement to hold these catastrophes back from occurring. Still, the whole spot is shockingly shaky and hugely radioactive. Number 2. The sleeping city of Kawachi. The city of Kawachi, Kazakhstan, isn't Disney's creation. It is more or less genuine residents of Kolach face an exceptionally particular pandemic. Individuals simply break down into rests haphazardly even while strolling out and about. They likewise report cognitive decline, exhaustion, and mental trips. The pandemic influences individuals from all sexes and ages. Kazakhstan has even suggested departures, however. They are no nearer to taking care of the issue. One hypothesis recommends that the inhabitants are confronting some sort of radiation harming. Since the area is close to a uranium mine, nonetheless, there are imperfections in that hypothesis. All the blood tests and other checking has turned up zero proof. Furthermore, there is a town which is nearer to the psyche than Kolach, and they have revealed no such pestilence. Number 3. The Boiling River. Somewhere down in the Amazon lies a stream 4 miles in length, and in contrast to some other on the planet, the Shanai Timfishka is hot to such an extent that any creature that means into it gets bubbled alive. At the point when a hapless animal meanders and the eyes cook, first liquefying in quite a while skull. Before long, the creature is in an excessive amount of agony to continue to swim to somewhere safe and secure. Water fills its mouth and lungs, and it is cooked from the back to front. The stream gets as hot as 91 degrees Celsius, 196 degrees Fahrenheit, and researchers aren't totally certain why. Typically, water that gets this hot is taken care of by a spring of gushing lava. Be that as it may, this one is 700 kilometers taken out from the closest one. However, there is a hypothesis. Researchers accept that extremely hot water from under the earth breaks through separation points and warms up the stream, making the water a geothermal framework, not at all like some other on the planet. Number 4. The Devil's Kettle. Far as regular secrets go, the Devil's Kettle in Minnesota is one of the most captivating ones. At a specific point along the Brule Stream, the stream's water parts into two. One split proceeds its course onto the lake prevalent, and the other split. Indeed, we do not know where it goes. Researchers realize it needs to wind up someplace. However, we don't have the foggiest idea where that is. Researchers previously had a go at placing color into the pot and held back to see what portion of the lake turns up colors. It was a vain exertion. Nothing turned up. Next, they chose to attempt it with ping pong balls. They likewise disappeared. Suddenly, what on earth is going on? We as a whole realize that laws of science direct that the water needs to turn up someplace, regardless of whether it is being put away underground. There ought to be markings, and it ought to be discernible. Outsiders equal universe misfire in our programming. Some still a mystery to science and Mayan stunt. Nobody's entirely certain. Number 5. The Doubletree of Kiss or so in the countryside of Piemonte, Italy. There is a strange sight. There is a cherry tree there that searches in many regards very much like some other sound cherry tree, with the exception of that it is becoming straightforwardly on top of a mulberry tree. This isn't totally remarkable. Parasitic trees have outgrown others previously, however. Ordinarily, they are little hindered things that carry on with short lives prior to tumbling off the twofold tree of Kaus orzo, however, comprises of two full-fledged solid trees, each spreading its branches 5 meters across. No one very knows how it happened, local people, except that a bird might have dropped a cherry seed on top of the mulberry tree. The seed developed roots that pushed through the mulberry tree's empty trunk and arrived at the whole way to the dirt beneath, allowing it to get by and develop into a full sound tree. Number 6. The circles of Namibia. There is an ecological secret sitting all through Namibian deserts. There are fields of grass with circles cut in them at normal spans. The circles are impeccably made and can go from 10 to 65 feet in distance across. What's more, incidentally, assuming you are thinking about the film The Signs, you are in good company. Disregard making sense of the circles. Researchers are not even certain of the more fundamental inquiries. For example, for what reason are there circles? Why no irregular shape? Nothing fills in these circle patches. Researchers have thought of different hypotheses and all have been exposed very quickly. In 2013, Norbert Jurgens, a natural researcher, said that termites were the reason for the circles. Yet all at once in 2015, scholar Walter Schinkel tried the speculation and invalidated it. Number 7. Consistent lightning storm in western Venezuela. Over the Catatumbo stream, there is a tempest that won't ever stop. Beginning at 7 p.m., consistently lightning crashes over the water for 10 hours, consistently 260 evenings. Every year, no one knows without a doubt why it occurs up to this point. The main hypothesis was that it had something to do with uranium in the bedrock, in spite of the fact that researchers are beginning to uncertainty it today. The main hypothesis is a confounded one. It sets that the state of the mountains caused warm exchange winds to slam into cold air from the Andes. That impact is then powered by the quickly dissipating water underneath and methane from a close-by oil field. No one really knows without a doubt, however, why it works out. Every little thing about it is secretive. Remembering 1 second for 2010, when it mysteriously halted one day, the tempest only subsided without clarification and appeared for some time to be over then. Following a month and a half of quiet once more, it started up and has been seething from that point onward. Number 8. The hum of Taos. Scarcely perceptible humming sound that you can't pinpoint can chafe you. We have all been there when a far-off lawnmower or our television begins making a buzz, and except if and until we don't find where it's coming from, it seems like our mind is eating itself from within. Presently envision the aggravation and disappointment of occupants of Taos in New Mexico. Since the mid-1990s, huge quantities of inhabitants of Taos have griped about a consistent murmuring sounded very well may be heard all over the town and has made individuals loco for quite some time. Different specialists have attempted to find the murmur in any case. To no achievement, a few researchers have estimated that the town's occupants are super listeners who can identify sound that standard people can't. In any case, doesn't that bring up additional issues? Then it replies. Number 9. Movil Cave-In. Southeastern Romania. There is a cave that was locked away from the slightest ray of light for 5.5 million years, and that has a completely different atmosphere from the Earth. The cave was discovered by workers looking to set up a power plant. They tested the ground to see if it was a safe place to build and cracked open a pathway that leads into one of the strangest places on Earth. If you descend through the narrow shaft and past a series of tunnels, you enter a chamber with a lake of sulfuric water, stinking of rotten eggs. The air there is toxic, filled with hydrogen sulfide and contaminated with 100 times the surface's level of carbon dioxide. The strangest part, though, is that a whole ecosystem has survived inside it. Researchers have found 33 species inside the cave that don't exist anywhere outside of it. They've adapted to survive in a sulfuric atmosphere, living by feeding off a foam on top of the stones. And the last on our list for today, Northern Light in Norway. Occupants of Hissdal and Valley, Norway, are ceaselessly living in a domain of extraordinary logical secret. Pretty much consistently lights show up overhead. They are of brilliant varieties. They dance around shift shapes unmistakably and vanish just to seem the following day during the evening. This has been happening for a very long time. At any rate, researchers are confounded by this secret, however. There are speculations yet. None is by all accounts sufficient, since essentially the mid-1930s individuals have recognized the lights and guessed what could be causing them. One hypothesis recommends that the lake is radioactive. The radon rides dust particles, and upon rises it rots and creates lights. Another hypothesis proposes that the foundation of the valley is brimming with sulfuric. Corrosive sulfur responds to the water and delivers what researchers call sparkles. Many tests have been performed to pinpoint the specific reason, yet without much of any result. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoy the video, please let me know by clicking the like button. Do share, write a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch up my next video.